Welcome back to Let's Talk Entertainment News. In a few moments, going to talk about the newly announced Blair Witch reimagining. Before we get to that, a few things for you. But yes, it looks like Blair Witch is back because we can't let anything alone. The new Blair Witch movie announced. Blumhouse to revive Lionsgate horror classics. The Blair Witch Project is getting reimagined for a new age, with Lionsgate announcing that Blumhouse would be reimagining the original film along with other Lionsgate horror titles. So yes, more remakes of all types coming down the pipe. The Blair Witch Project reimagining will be the first in a multi-picture pact between Blumhouse and Lionsgate that will see the horror studios reimagine horror classics, in quotes, from the Lionsgate library. Scrolling down, the original The Blair Witch Project was released in 1999. What a crazy year that was for film, and very quickly became one of the most influential horror films to be ever made. Created on just a $750,000 budget. Seems a little high. I'm guessing most of that was advertising. The film grossed more than $248 million worldwide and is often seen as the film to revive the found footage genre, leading to countless other films made in its style. But yes, first off, the film itself. How do you do the Blair Witch again? They've tried twice. They had the sequel, Book of Shadows, and then they had the one a couple of years ago, just called Blair Witch, I believe, which wasn't completely horrible. But you know, what do you do with a film whose driving force was this illusion that perhaps this was real? If you go back to 1999, this is one of the pioneers of online advertising. They basically use their website and various video footage to make it appear as if this is a true story or a true legend, and that somebody actually died out in the woods and there is some supernatural happenings. And I think all of it really helped lead to the ongoing phenomenon of these paranormal investigation shows. I think it's very much related to the success of the Blair Witch, but you can't recreate that surprise, so you have to do something different. The sequel, which was heavily edited from the intent of the directors, in fact tried that. It wasn't a found footage film, and they tried to do something different. It didn't quite work, at least not in the form that was released, but you have to credit them for trying. They had to have known that they couldn't do just a second found footage film because the illusion had already been broken. So what do you do this time? Do you go back to the roots, try to do that, and you will fail at surprising people unless you can come up with some other kind of twist? Or do you go completely more high-end and cerebral and try to approach it from that direction? I don't know. The other bit of news in this story was the fact that they're going to looking into reimagining many of the Lionsgate's films from their catalog. On one hand, this continues this trend that we've had forever. It's not a new trend. We recognize it as a new trend to do remakes, but films have been remade since the dawn of cinema. What was I watching the other day? And I was sort of doing some research, and it was a Mutiny on a Bounty. I was rewatching the 60s version. After that, there was an 80s version, but prior to the 60s version, I think there was a talkie version. I think there was a silent version before that. So many films have been remade time and time again, going right back to the beginning of the industry. But we've been noticing it a lot more recently for some reason. I think it's because we feel and it might not be a real feeling, but we do feel that there's less and less of these sort of original films. That's not necessarily true, but at least in the theater, there's this sense that all the money and attention is going to the sequels and to the remakes and to yada, yada, yada. But so on one hand, I'm a bit alarmed. Yes, this is a label whose express purpose is to go back and to remake films from their catalog. That's a little alarming. On the other hand, if you can take some of these films, sort of pluck them from obscurity. Maybe they were films that weren't that great to begin with, and although they use the word classics. But if you can do that, and you can give these films new life, and perhaps do them right for the first time, but also, regardless of what the case may be, a new film does not destroy the old film. the first thing that happens when you do a remake of a film is that everybody goes back and looks at the original film and re-examines that film and perhaps sees it for the first time. So it's always good for the original, in a sense. Ultimately, if the new version sucks, it will be forgotten in a couple of years and you can try again. So it is a double-edged sword. I don't want to be as negative as a lot of people are about all of these sequels and remakes. But at the same time, I am cautiously optimistic about what they will do with the Blair Witch. 1999, that was a crazy year for movies. The big one was The Phantom Menace, which, despite a lot of the negativity that arrived with the film shortly after its release, was very important to the box office. And then in its own way, the Blair Witch came along and sort of, along with the Phantom Menace and a few others, sort of pioneered the possibilities of online promotion of your movies and sort of a digital grassroots method, if you will. And I think that, 99 sort of comes to mind for me as one of the great defining movie years of my life. I was 15, 16 years old at the time. Did see The Blair Witch in the theater. It's one of the many films that were probably inappropriate for my age, but I did see in the theater with my father because, he was cool and didn't really give a shit about that part of my upbringing. I'll be watching where this goes. Cautiously optimistic. They've tried a couple times. It hasn't worked out, but maybe this is the time. These are sort of heady times for the horror genre right now. So many films are finding success, whether they be good or bad. People are giving them a chance, and the whole horror genre seems to be thriving. So this is a perfect opportunity to do this. Whether doing this is right or wrong, that is up to you. But thanks for tuning in. Tell us what you think in the comment section below. But until next time, keep it creepy.